A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, the Twin Flame Union. In this channeling session, I'm going to be discussing this subject separately because this subject keeps coming up in different channelings, and I think I need to cover it separately because a lot of divine masculines, they run away from responsibilities, commitments, unconditional love. And in this session, the title is that spirituality does not mean you run away from your responsibilities. For private sessions, personal readings, guidance on dream interpretation, counseling and therapies, please go through the description box first. And once you are sure, then write to me at thesunamoon@gmail.com. When it comes to twin flame intuitive readings, I prefer not knowing anything about the twin flame journey in advance before the reading, so that we can get the best and most accurate answers, because that's what we are here to do, right? We are here to get the best solutions. So we will discuss the twin flame journey during the reading, in between when we answer the questions. But in case of therapies, you have to share with me different facets of your life, and you also need to be prepared to do inner work, because there are a lot of people, they think that therapies are all about sessions, like you have sessions, I'm going to talk and that's about it. No, therapies have assignments in between. This is how I do it. I know other people don't work like this, but this is a twin flame world. Twin flame journey as it is a very niche journey. You can't just go and talk about every single person that hey, I'm in a twin flame journey, I'm a twin flame, I'm a feminine, and they'll be like, of course you're a feminine, we know that, what's the big deal about it? They may not relate with it, they may not resonate with it, because they're spiritually not in that level to understand it. All right, so in the therapy, you share with me the different facets of your life so that we can heal the wounded inner child, which then leads to a 5D union, and the 5D union leads to a 3D union. It's not possible to get a 3D union without a 5D union. You can also get my book In the Name of Love, which has 5 channel twin flame stories based on the journey of finding your ultimate soulmate, and the link is also given in the description box. Connect with me on Instagram at the Sunamoon Goddess for fun updates, for ascension updates, for uplifting, motivating, positive updates, and just normal life, daily life, regular updates also. And you can check out the Sunamoon vlogs to get interesting content that supports ascension lifestyle. Please remember, ascension is a lifestyle. I tell this to people, I try to tell this in the channelings, and I definitely tell them in therapies that you gotta make inner work a part of your lifestyle. It has to be done daily. Literally, it has to be done daily. We also do daily channelings. Why do we do that? So that we don't step away and we start, putting our minds into something else. In Hindi, we have a word called ghamand, and we have a word called pakhand. Okay, ghamand and pakhand. These two words are very important words right now for this channeling, because one needs to understand ghamand means ego in English, and pakhand means hypocrisy. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, normally it will be noticed that people who have a big ego, they don't like to do any work. They are very irresponsible because they are all about themselves. So if you give them some work to do, if you give them some responsibility to do, they would want to make some excuse, or sometimes they won't even like it. That how could someone tell me to do this? I am the Miss Prince Charming, or I am the Miss Princess Charming, or whatever. I should not be doing any work. Now, in the twin flame journey, masculine can be a man or masculine can be a woman. Same way, feminine can be a man, feminine can be a woman. Okay, these energies can be in any person. So, it's also possible that in some houses, the parents, they over pamper their child, even if it's a girl child, and because they lack empathy. So, it's all about empathy. Egoistic people, why do we use this term narcissism so often in the ascension journey? Not only in the twin flame world. If you talk to someone who is a light worker, or if you discuss it with someone who's a star seed, because if you go on Facebook, or certain pages are there, certain groups are there, And there are lots of people in those groups. I used to think that it would have just a few people, but it has thousands of people on those groups. They discuss this a lot, I have noticed, the narcissism, the subject of narcissism. Because the higher you go in inner work, the higher you understand this journey, you will understand that ego, narcissism, has the biggest role to play in anybody's growth and development, as in not allowing them to grow and develop. That is like a roadblock. Ego, narcissism, which comes from ego, obviously is a roadblock. And hypocrisy, obviously, because narcissistic people or egotistical people, if you sit and talk to them, you will be amazed. You know, it will be like music to your ears. They will know everything. They know what are the good things to be done. They know what are the sweet things to be said. They know what is bad behavior, what is good behavior. Don't think that narcissistic people won't have knowledge. They will have knowledge, and they love to display that knowledge also. Okay, but because it's not practical knowledge, if they come across a person who has practical knowledge, if somebody is an authentic spiritualist, then these narcissistic people will fall weak, because they have great words. They always have great comebacks. Most of the narcissistic people, they always have good answers to give to others, based on which they refuse responsibility, or they carry such an aura, they carry such a personality, they have such a personality that everybody wants to serve them, everybody wants to take care of them. This is what they think in their heads also, that I am the best, you know, I am the best person, I am the most beautiful, I am the most interesting, and thus I should be served and I should be taken care of. So if somebody is constantly living in that energy, they would obviously not want to take responsibility. If they take responsibility also, then it has to be something which is going to uplift their image. So some of the narcissistic people, they, you know, they'll always come across as very good parents. They always come across as very good parents. Like, the reason why I shared about Britney Spears' life is because when she was a child, when she was going and performing on stage, and she was singing and she was acting and she was dancing, I am 100% sure people must have said that her parents are the best parents on this planet, because they have groomed her so well and they have trained her so well. Little would anyone have realized or even thought that in future, when this girl grows up, everyone will find out that her parents had actually turned her into a slave. She was their slave, earning money for them. In some recent news, it was told that her father was actually writing a check of $23,000, or I don't know, $18,000. Can't remember the figure right now, but it is a huge sum of money that he was writing to him as a check, being her conservator, being her caretaker or guardian. He is supposed to take care of the daughter, but on the contrary, the daughter is making money, the daughter is earning. She's literally in a jail, she's literally jailed by people. She's literally made to feel that she has mental disorders and she's crazy. And she might have acted like a crazy person, because who would not act like a crazy person if you constantly have people hovering around you, the paparazzi is hovering around you? Who wouldn't go crazy, especially when you're sad, when you're depressed, you want to be alone, you want to be away. You know, there are two types of people. One, those who seek sympathy. They would go and tell everyone how sad they are, how much pain they are going through, how they have been done wrong by others, how much other people have tortured them, and this and that. So they will, even if that has not happened with them, they will go and tell everyone about it. If they constantly do this, like for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, they've been doing it, or if you know them, say for a year or two, and you see that they're constantly doing this, constantly playing the victim card, constantly acting like they're sad, and you know, other people have tortured them and the whole world is to be blamed, then you should understand that they could also be covert narcissistic people, because they like attention, they want attention, and for that attention they are willing to be sad. and they have also been trained and programmed, or they have seen while they were growing up, they saw that if their parents or the adults would, say these type of things, other people would give them sympathy, or other people would help them out, or other people would take care of them. So they learned it somehow, that if I'm supposed to get love from others or attention, affection from others, then I must tell them that how sad and depressed I am. Okay, if it is on a continuous basis, if someone tells you their problems once in 10 years, or like during the twin flame journey, it is being noticed that a lot of feminines, they keep their pain to themselves for a long time, and they even think and they even believe that something is totally wrong with them and they are not worthy of love. But when they start getting into therapy, and this is why therapy is important, because when they get into therapy, they talk about all those things that were hidden in their subconscious mind, or they were hidden in their hearts for so long. Like when I speak to anyone during therapy, and when they tell me certain amount of things, very painful things, very painful experiences, after sharing, I have noticed that they feel free. The first thing, when they share it, they feel relaxed, that I told someone and that person has not judged me. That person not only has not judged me, but that person has given me some kind of technique, and they have given me some kind of remedy, that next time if these thoughts bother me, this is what I should do, or this is how I should next, for the next, what should I do, how should I move on. They are telling me this. So they feel very free and very relaxed. This happens to those who genuinely go through pain, they suffer, and they had not even been aware. Thanks to inner work, thanks to all the ascension work that we do, thanks to the grace of masters, thanks to the grace of God, that finally somehow we get to know that this is the problem. And I hadn't been sharing it with anyone, because in many cases the neglected child is told and it is trained and programmed by the parents, by the adults, or someone else, whosoever is grooming them, or whosoever is either abusing them or taking care of them or not being responsible for them. They've been telling them that if you go and talk to other people about your problems, people are going to laugh at you, people are going to make fun of you, people are going to take advantage of you. In the spiritual world, even we have heard this, laugh and the world laughs with you, cry and you're all by yourself. This is actually quite confusing. Now I'll tell you what is the change, what is the difference here. Some people don't cry at all, but when they cry in front of others. And this is why I spoke about therapy also, because during therapy you are not crying in front of the world, you're not crying to 10 people, you're not going to every second person and telling them, hey, I'm in pain, no one cares for me, nobody loves me, nobody thinks I'm good, my family treats me like this, other people treat me like this, my friends treat me like this, blah blah blah. That is not genuine crying. But if you really want to release your wounds, then you need to cry alone, or you need to cry, or you need to share. If you don't want to cry, that's okay. You need to share your concern with someone who's on the same level, or someone who's on the same page. Maybe in the level they could be higher, because if they are at peace, and if they're, you know who's in peace and who's in more balance. If you feel that they are more in peace and balance, again, you can discuss with them. But if you were going to discuss with somebody who does not understand what you're going through, who does not have the practical experience of life, who is not mature enough, not just mature materialistically, we need people who are spiritually mature. If they're spiritually not mature, you are going to feel worse after crying in front of them. After crying in front of them or sharing with them, you will feel like something has been taken away from you. You'll feel more hollow, you'll feel very shallow, you'll feel very sick, you'll feel like, oh my God, why did I even talk to this person? Because they are so judgmental. Or they are going to see that now this person is weak, this is the best time to take advantage. It has happened that when a lot of girls seek help from someone, like a man, like a masculine figure, they think that maybe if I share my problem with this person is going to solve it. Little do they realize that the moment this person knows that, oh, this person is in pain or this person is in problem, that's the time they give the offer that if you sleep with me, or they'll say it in some subtle ways, if you do this with me, oh, why don't we go out just to hang out, just to roam around, we can go out for a drive, or we can just go out for a maybe we can go for a swimming session, or maybe we can go for a spa, or maybe we can go for a, I don't know, like some kind of a eating out thing. But they are giving you some, dropping some hints, like if you're going to spend time with me alone, if you're going to go out alone, then I'm going to help you any which way, I'm going to be there for you, but let's do it. So they are trying to take benefit of a person who is in stress already. Now some people give direct offers, like, okay, I'm going to help you out, but you do this for me. And the person, they make you feel so small, they make you feel so wrong, that why did I even ask for help from these people, or why did I even share my problem? Because I have shared my problem with them, they are going to think that I am weak, and they do think that you are weak, because they are spiritually not mature. Okay, now why does the narcissistic adult abuser tell the child not to share their problem with anyone? Because if the child or if the grown-up goes ahead and tells other people that this is what has happened to me, other people are going to find out that the narc was basically an irresponsible person, and the narc is the reason why this child is suffering. Just how it happened in the case of Britney Spears. She went out in the world finally after so many years. Imagine, she's gone through it for so many years, and look at the music she's making. Toxic, I'm a slave for you, these type of songs she's making. And now she's telling people that I can't handle this toxicity, and I can't handle being a slave for other people. So she's also trying to tell the world that what we sing and what we dance and what we say, it may not be true. It is not true, because if it was true, then I won't be suffering after doing all of this, or after thinking like this. Anyway, so one of the biggest illusions in the journey of twin flamers is the hypocrisy, and it is the ego that plays a difficult role. So the DMs mostly, because they are the enabled child, they mostly have this problem that they will not stick to the commitments, and they cannot take responsibilities. They're really scared of responsibilities actually. They maybe want to take the responsibility, maybe they want to be that lover or that partner or that person, but they're constantly thinking, or they're scared that it will not work out, or something is going to happen, or they are programmed in such a way that they can never really recognize the true lover, the true partner for them. So this is the reason why they need to take some responsibility, and they will only take responsibility of their divine counterpart, which is their divine feminine, when the divine feminine is able to become fully independent, even in small gaps and areas. Because it happens that in maybe some things they are independent, they have healed their root chakra, so now they're able to earn money, they're financially independent. They may not be financially free, or they may not be like a millionaire or a billionaire, but they can sustain their expenses, and whatever they need, they are able to manifest that resource wise, but there are some who can't even do that. There are some who cannot get even basic simple things. Everything is very expensive for them, and some of them are literally hand to mouth. And this also happens because imagine if a person, a divine feminine or a masculine, if they are does not happen with masculines as such, mostly it's happening with feminines. I've noticed this, but it could be different. But I've noticed that imagine they cannot even afford basics. They cannot get a good dress, or they cannot buy a new phone, or they cannot buy anything they need. It's like that difficult for them. So they are not able to survive in the family scenario with the biological relationships with the other people, because energetically they are operating from low frequency. And they are the ones who are more responsible. They are very responsible. If you give them a responsibility, they will make sure they complete it. But they are not able to complete it because in their heads they feel that they are unworthy. So one person thinks that even if they do it, or even if something happens, they'll do something and they'll live in regret. So one person is constantly living in regret, and the other person is living in guilt and shame that I am not good enough and I am not able to complete this thing. And hypocrisy. Why hypocrisy is so important to decode? Because you will see a lot of people around you tell you a lot of things like do this, do that, you should be like this, you should be like that, but they don't practice it themselves. And this is one of the biggest traits of a narc abuser. Like, that's the reason why a lot of them are also very religious. And this is the reason why, despite being in some very high positions, they have turned out to be molesters and rapists and frauds and scammers. A lot of them have been like that. Why? Because they're really good in maintaining that public image and looking very responsible. But inside, they have mental disorders. They have problems. They have addictions. Imagine, there is a movie, please watch it if you're in the inner work, if you're doing inner work yourself, because during therapy I give this movie as an assignment. There's a movie called Spotlight. It's a very well researched movie where they have done all of the reporting work and as well as all the investigation, and they found out with evidence, with proof, with evidence, and with witnesses coming up and giving their statements, how all of these huge number of people, kids, were molested by religious people in the church. They used to go to a church and they were being abused by these fathers and these men who are otherwise supposed to take care of them. So this has a very bad impact on a person, on a child especially, because you see a teacher or you see a religious person, a priest or a pandit or a Maulvi or anyone who's in that capacity as someone who's close to God, someone who has the image of a worshipper, of a devotee. And imagine a devotee turns around and he or she does this to you, right? Even in the twin flame journey, some people have told me that they were scammed by readers or some kind of healers before in the past, so they're very scared about it. That's simply because you can't yet recognize who's genuine and who's not genuine. So this is one thing. When she does this, the feminine, whosoever the feminine is, if she is able to recognize between genuine and fake, and if she is also able to handle fake people really well, like if you put her in that situation or position where she has to handle such people, she'll do a great job at it. When she reaches this place, the masculine will automatically release that hypocrisy, because he's going to tell other people, yeah, you should love your girlfriend, you should love your wife, you should do this, you should do that. He can give good speeches and sermons, but when it comes to applying it on his own, he would have cold feet, he would run away, or he would, like they do, or they would make mistakes, they would keep choosing wrong people. So that will release, okay? And when the feminine increases her self-worth, the other person's ego will diminish. So both the words Ghamand and Pakhand, both of them will get resolved, and once these two get resolved, the feminine will become very powerful, and she is not only becoming personally powerful, but she is going to distribute this power to whosoever she feels needs it a lot, or whosoever she feels would be able to do better with this power, would be able to do good with this power. Because any which way, someone who's not ready for something, they'll not even recognize it. You can give a gift to 2 different people, 3 different people, 6 different people, but only the person who can recognize it as a gift is going to use it as a gift, so going to make the most of it. The rest are probably going to throw it away or ignore it, or in some cases there is a divine timing. You give a gift to someone today, and maybe after 10 years, 5 years or 6 years or 7 months or whatever, they'll suddenly awaken to the fact that, oh my God, that was a gift, it was given to me, it is precious, I need to use it, and I need to be worthy of it as well. Alright, so on this note, I would be closing this channeling session. Thank you so much for being here with me. One love and peace out.